We have several updates, both big and small, about Tesla to review today. First, the version of full self-driving that for the first time includes end-to-end highway stack is being released to customers. Second, in an interesting move, Tesla now allows you to terminate your lease early if you take delivery of a new vehicle. Third, we've got a short video Tesla released showing off their solar panel supercharger station. Fourth, in a new report, Tesla was highlighted as the only AAA-rated battery storage supplier. They ranked Tesla at the forefront of the global battery storage market. This is a good place to be, as the need for battery storage skyrockets as demand for data centers skyrocket. Finally, Waymo and Hyundai have announced a multi-year partnership that will see Waymo add Hyundai's Ioniq 5 to its robotaxi fleet. Let's see what this all means. I've got Hans Nelson joining us. Hans is going to help me understand better each of these stories. He's got his own YouTube channel. Check him out there at Hans C. Nelson. Thanks, Hans.
Thanks for having me, Herbert.
So, this is finally, we've got the full stack version 12.5.6. Now that we're in October, we're expecting version 13 sometime this month. But this is the first time that it includes highway end-to-end. It's now being delivered. I'm not going to go through this, but this is a Tesla Chat tracks every single version and when it was released and announced. Here we are, 12.5.6 being released wide, going out to customers first time. What's your thoughts on this particular version?
It'll be really nice to, get highway end-to-end rolled out to all customers, kind of the way that we have. Like 12.5.4, I think, is in the hands of most, if not all, customers at this point in time. I don't know if I expect 12.5.6 to be one of those releases. It might be more like some of the other versions, 12.5.1, for example, that were a little bit more limited. They did go out to customers, but mostly to early access program members. It's possible that they could. My reason for skepticism is that, that I think that September 30th deadline was a significant deadline that they put on themselves to try and roll out as much functionality to the entire fleet as possible. And I think the next time that we get to one of those is going to be Thursday. So there is chance that this could try to go wide before Thursday, but then after Thursday, it's going to be the end of the month. And so if there's, I would say 50-50 chance that 12.5.6 goes wide before or on Thursday. If not, then I think we may have to wait until closer to the end of the month to really see the wide releases push out to the whole fleet. And those wide releases would include more functionality than just this highway end-to-end stack too. So, either way, by the end of the month, I expect a much higher quality experience even than 12.5.4 in the hands of the entire fleet. And that's less than 4 weeks away. So pretty exciting.
This is, I think, a big move because obviously we've been waiting for single stack. Finally got it. Get that out of the way. One software, now we can now measure success over time, progress. Okay, lots of ways that Tesla is able to add different kinds of levers to boost up vehicle sales. Here's a new one. Didn't expect this one. Tesla now allows you to terminate your lease early if you take delivery of a new vehicle. So if you're currently leasing at Tesla now, you can terminate it early if you decide to get a new vehicle. So when you place a new order, you can choose to return your lease when taking delivery of your new vehicle. There's a lot of things here, right? It could actually just be simply, boosting new sales, but it could also be something to do with robotaxi, maybe. I don't know. Getting as many lease vehicles off market. What's your thinking here?
Yeah, I like the move. I'm not sure, like you said, if it signals, are they going to be purchasing these vehicles back and keeping them on the inventory? Could they potentially be robotaxis? If so, that's kind of a hit to cash flow in the short term. Not that I would disagree with that. But then the other way to look at this is, maybe they are right now a little bit more on the demand constrained side. And so this is a way to help sell more vehicles, but then also to increase their ability to offer these lease vehicles at lower prices on used inventory and just increase their sales overall by moving the average price down a little bit by allowing these leases to come off early. You are pulling something forward that you would have had in the future, so you're really just playing with timetables here in doing that, but definitely not something that I'm opposed to. And it's exciting to, get people to experience some of these new vehicles, if they're getting into a Cybertruck or if they're getting into the refresh Model 3, The experience for the consumer in those vehicles is pretty radically different than previous models of S3, X, and Y. So exciting, and I can't wait to just continue to see more people be wowed with the Tesla vehicle once again, even though they may have been driving one for some time already.
Thank you so much for that. That's an interesting move by Tesla. Next story here is Tesla is released this image and video of them putting solar panels on a supercharger station, but it's a pretty big installation. Let's take a look at what this looks like here.
Hi, my name is Jeroen. I'm working for Tesla for 8 years now. I've worked in various roles and it's unlocked me to work on cool projects like this. On the factory roof, we already have a lot of solar, but we run out of space, but we wanted to do more. So we looked into our car park, and as you can see, it's pretty big. So we have a really nice spot in front of the factory where we have installed 226 wall chargers for our employees and everybody who wants to use them. So we decided to build a 5,000 square meter solar canopy, and we installed over 2,600 solar panels. In total, we will generate almost 1 megawatt of solar power.
Love it. They put solar panels in their entire factory. They've extended now to the station. You can see where this is going to go, right? Every single supercharger station will eventually have powered by the sun, free energy, and then they can keep moving forward. What's your opinion on what you just saw?
I would agree. I love it. Being able to provide shade to the vehicles out in the parking lot, that's a benefit in and of itself. Being able to generate power while those things are being shaded is an even greater benefit. I do want to point out for people that these are wall chargers, not superchargers, that they have installed there. So, this is not high power, super fast DC charging for tons and tons of vehicles all at once. But that is more than capable of potential, it's highly likely that it will charge at least as much, if not more, than whoever drove to the factory to go to work used in that drive. So this can offset the entire amount of electricity that they used in their commute to and from work while they're at work instead of at home. And one of the things that applications like this will really make an impact on is for people who live in apartment complexes. That if you live in an apartment complex and you work at Tesla and you cannot charge at home, this really solves a major pain point for you, because you don't have to go to a supercharger. You don't necessarily even have to pay supercharging rates. I would assume that they are charging for the charging that is occurring here, but it's probably going to be much more like residential electricity rates more than the supercharging rates that people normally pay. And so they save that extra money in charging costs, but they also save the time of having to stop at a supercharger on their commute back and forth to work. And obviously, this is probably something that this installation is not going to break even financially for a while. But it is signaling what the future looks like. And eventually these types of projects, as the price of solar comes down and as they figure out the installation and all of the associated costs that are involved here, that this will get much, much cheaper over time. And eventually I think this type of an installation will be pretty commonplace.
Well, you can see here they announced also that in the third quarter, Tesla opened 2.8 thousand supercharger stalls, 23% year-over-year network growth. So for those who thought that Tesla stopped installing superchargers completely, that's absolutely not true. This is the third quarter. They delivered 1.4 terawatt hours, a 27% year-over-year growth, saved 150 plus million gallons of gasoline, offsetting 3 billion pounds of carbon monoxide. This is just in one quarter. Significant savings, significant impact for Tesla owners. But it's still pretty good growth.
Agreed.
Nice. And I hope that some of these superchargers will start getting the solar panels as well. I think they had promised that, right? Do you have any idea if this is something that they're working on?
It's pretty hard to power an actual supercharger. You'd have to have not very many stalls of supercharging for the amount of panels that you have. So you could have a giant, and this is the reason why they're using the wall chargers underneath that canopy there compared to the superchargers, is because you just, there's no way that you could have a supercharger handle at every single parking spot under that canopy and power it directly from the solar panels themselves. Even at peak power during the day, the amount of power draw off of that many superchargers would far exceed the amount of power that you could generate from that area of solar
Mhm.
panels. So you could do, a couple of supercharger stalls potentially in, underneath the canopy, but it would have to be vast majority, like 95 or 98% wall chargers instead.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I mean, they're going to have mega packs too. So that's, I think, the plan. Okay.
Yeah, the
So
the
the
mega packs don't solve your ability to generate the electricity in the first
enough.
place. That electricity would have to be generated somewhere.
Hmm. Well, I guess not as 100%, but at least offset. We'll see if they do it. Okay. So Tesla Hype shared this news from Energy Storage. Tesla, in a new report, uh, is the only AAA rated battery storage supplier. This rating positions Tesla at the forefront of the global ESS market, which is massive, and everybody needs these battery storage solutions now. So the report says that it's the only AAA rated supplier in this report, reliability report. These are the mega packs. 15 groups were evaluated who are active across battery cell production, module assembly, integrated solution shipments. While not all companies make upstream components or even assemble the modules themselves, it's a prerequisite for inclusion in the new report. The companies ship own branded ESA solutions. Okay, that's who they included, these 15. I'm going to jump right to the back here. Here you go. Tesla's the number one AAA. So this is, debt ratings, whether or not they're going to, who's the one who's most reliable financially, financial system. You got Cattle next, Samsung. I don't know who these guys are, Wärtsilä, Lithium, and Rept. So that's a really big deal. I think that, the demand for battery solutions is going up, skyrocketing. And so you want to, obviously price matters, but you also only want to choose from the top, the guys who's going to be around, who's got good financials. What's your thoughts on this report?
Exactly. Yeah, that last point that you made is the key thing to walk away from here, that according to this report, Tesla is the company producing energy storage solutions that is most likely to still be in business 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And I don't know, honestly, how much of a factor that plays into the decision making criteria that different utility companies are evaluating as they look for these battery storage solutions. I think that it would be very high, but that's just speculation on my part. But I would say, at least for me personally, I would like to work with suppliers. If I'm buying a piece of equipment that I expect to use for 20 or 30 years on its useful life, I would definitely want to work with a company that I expect it to be in business over the entire lifespan of that product. And in this instance, Tesla's really the only one that you can have a high degree of certainty in. It's because this part of the business is an overall component of a much larger business, and Tesla's going to continue to be in business for the next 20 to 30 years regardless, and they're going to continue to serve this segment, whereas a lot of these other entities and companies, they're really trying to establish themselves and hopefully become a significant player. But there's a lot of competitive forces that are really tough to navigate, and that there's risks that they may not be able to survive long term. They may get eaten up in whether it's consolidation, get purchased, or just go out of business entirely. But regardless if it was them ceasing to exist because they get purchased or going out of business, either one of those outcomes puts at risk their ability to service those pieces of equipment long term.
Yeah. So if it's just battery electric vehicle for electric vehicles, no big deal. They'll sell as many as they can. But if it's mega packs, then that's where it makes a difference, right? Because they're not just a one-time sale. It's multi-year maintenance, software,
Yes,
actual
they're
support.
guaranteeing the operation of that mega pack for at a certain level for a specific number of years. And if it falls short, the utility companies can actually ask Tesla, hey, like you said it was going to perform to this level, and it was, $1 million short over the last 10 years of that level of performance. You owe us $1 million. And that is the specific type of contractual arrangement that exists between Tesla and these customers. And so that's one where, if there's a chance that your supplier could owe you millions of dollars in the future based on performance obligations, you would like for
Yeah,
them
good
to
point.
exist in that
Good
future.
point.
And you would like for them to have that, tens of millions of
Capability.
dollars on hand
Yeah.
to pay you.
I guess in one angle though, it may not matter because the demand for this is so high. It's like massive. There's not enough producers that even the people who are like weakest in financials, they're going to sell whatever they make, honestly. Just the demand is so big at this point.
Yeah, but it
What do you think
does
about that?
secure Tesla's position
Tesla.
as the
Yeah, that's the point.
premier
Yeah.
operator in that space.
Okay, good points. Okay, next story is Waymo and Hyundai. I'm trying to understand what exactly is new here because this is a brand new announcement, but I feel like we've already made this announcement, something similar. It might have been that a couple weeks ago, it was like they were just talking about it, but this is a real financial. So before with that, this guy named Daniel Ho, he's Tesla's former head of vehicle programs and new product integration. He announced he's joined Waymo as the program director. So this is his resume. He's now program director for Waymo, but he's been working with Tesla for 10 years, right? He was pretty significant. If you look at here, Model 3 program manager, Model 3, Model Y program manager, vehicle programs, new product integration. So he's got great experience. He worked with the executive team, 10-year product roadmap. So you know what? 10 years, that's a friggin' long time working for one company. So I don't, I don't think that that's a statement about Tesla, but it's a great grab by Waymo. So the news is that Waymo and Hyundai announced they've entered into a multi-year strategic partnership. Okay, so Waymo is going to add Hyundai's Ioniq 5 to its robotaxi fleet. So it sounds like as if, while you might think, oh, Hyundai is going to get into autonomous driving, it's not exactly right. What it is more like is Waymo is going to buy Hyundai's cars and they're going to outfit it with their LiDARs and so forth, and they're going to use that, in those cities. And Ioniq 5s will begin by late 2025, Waymo enabled, and become available to Waymo One riders in years to follow. This is what they'll do. They'll take your car. This is the Hyundai. They'll just outfit it. So that's all I think this means. If you're Hyundai, yeah, anybody want to buy my cars? Please. Waymo and Hyundai enter a multi-year strategic partnership. Okay. The companies will integrate Waymo's 6th generation fully autonomous technology into Hyundai's electric SUV, which will be added to Waymo One fleet over time. It's going to be in the facility in Georgia, which we'll report shortly. There's another article on that. They're going to produce Ioniq 5s equipped with that. Yeah. I think that this part here I wanted to show was that the kind of modifications that they'll make to the car include redundant hardware and power doors. That's cool. Enable long driving shifts on a single charge, 800 volts. That's why they're going to do that. Plenty of legroom, rear cargo space. That's why they chose that particular car. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think that this is a point where Kathy Wood's team over at ARK Invest can, take a little bit of a victory lap in the way that they've conducted their research. They definitely predicted that it wouldn't just be autonomous vehicles, but it would be autonomous electric vehicles. So even for those analysts who want to say that, Waymo is going to dominate a robotaxi future, well, Waymo is planning to scale out that fleet here, at least in the United States, with these Hyundai Ioniq vehicles, which it'll be great to see those produced here in the United States. I think that is definitely a smart move by Waymo to partner with Hyundai, and for Hyundai to make the smart move of doing the manufacturing in here in the United States to localize that supply chain and really to mitigate a lot of the geopolitical risks that we have right now in trying to source automotive components and just cars in general from China. And so kind of diversifying away from potentially a relationship with Geely, at least for their US fleet. Maybe they could, because Waymo has talked about using Geely as one of their automotive manufacturers. And I'm sure that that's still part of the plan for their fleet internationally, but at least here in the United States, they needed to go in a direction that was a little bit more shielded from the potential tariffs that we're going to be looking at here in the near future. So yeah, smart all the way around. But once again, underlies that we're looking at electric vehicles that are going to become these robotaxis, and that the design of these robotaxis is going to be somewhat unique. It's going to require some modifications to the hardware. And then the thing is, okay, do you think that Waymo's making the right bet with their sensor suite? Can it get down in cost low enough? And can they make the performance of their software generalizable enough to really operate all across the United States and not just in a few select cities? Versus, on the other hand, can Tesla get their FSD software to be at the level of safety that Waymo's solution is right now in any city, using just the cameras and the computer that they have and a very smart neural network? That's what we have to watch for and see how that's going to play out. We obviously have a position that we think that Tesla's, has an advantage over the long term compared to Waymo. And that is yet to be seen fully in the numbers, though.
A point I wanted to make was that when Tesla has a factory and they, China, Giga Shanghai, for example, one every 30 seconds, Tesla comes out, that's robotaxi ready. These ones, Hyundai has to produce this Ioniq 5, send it out to Waymo. Waymo still needs to add all these sensors and all that and outfit it too. So the cost, the timing, just not, it's that some people haven't thought through yet, that actually it's not
it's
like
definitely
Hyundai
not the same cost structure.
Spitting out these cars that all already have Waymo and equipped things. So somehow they think that they're going to compete quite nicely. We'll see. Okay. So just what you were saying, that Hyundai actually has a factory here in the US, in Georgia. They've started producing electric SUVs, $7.6 billion plant. They, less than 2 years after breaking ground on a sprawling, manufacturing plant west of Savannah. Factory in Georgia held an employee-focused celebration Thursday. So that's great. 2 years, they built the factory. They're one of the kind of international companies selling directly in China. So they employ the LG Energy Solution plans to employ 8,500 total workers. Hyundai said it will produce up to 300,000 EVs per year in Georgia, as well as the batteries that power them. The plant's vehicle production areas have been completed, being staffed by more than 1,000 workers. First vehicles being produced are the 2025 Ioniq 5s. So they're going to be the ones that they're going to send them, and those are going to be arriving in U.S. dealerships before the end of this year. So great.
Yeah, and they said that they were first commercial sales, which very well may have been commercial sales directly to Waymo. Waymo's obviously going to be, one of the larger customers for these vehicles. So, that's a good thing for Hyundai. And I think overall, I am just excited to continue to see more and more robotaxis on the road, whether they are Teslas or Waymos or Cruise, because I think this is an important transition for the safety of our roadways in the long term.
Thank you so much, Hans. I want to remind folks that on Thursday, Tesla's hosting the We Robot event. And if you go to my channel, and you can see that there's going to be a live stream that we're going to do, co-hosted by Brian from Futuraza and Scott Walter, the bot expert. Three of us are going to co-host it. We're actually on site, and we're going to have a panel of the best. We've got Simon Hale, a portfolio manager, Cern Basher, a retail analyst, produces lots of analysis, and of course Larry as well. All three of them are very powerful and analysts. We're going to do a pre-show at 4:30 on Thursday Pacific time. Come join us. We're going to be live. We're going to interview as many people, both the retail celebrities as well as the institutional analysts who happen to be on site. We'll do a pre-show. We'll actually show the entire show itself, the event, and then we'll do a post-analysis. So come join us there. Go to my YouTube channel and set yourself a reminder. Again, thank you so much, Hans. I really, really appreciated this, this analysis that you gave us today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Herbert. And that's a great panel that you have put together there. Hopefully people learn a lot really excited for the event on Thursday.
And folks, do me a favor, go check out Hans' YouTube channel at Hans C. Nelson. He's got a number of videos and interviews that are just powerhouse. They're just great deep dives. Thank you so much. See you guys soon. Bye-bye. I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.